I'm going to walk you through how to upload a test bank into Moodle. If you start out with a Word document, we're going to format it so that it's a text file and in the Aiken format, which is an easier format to use for importing questions to Moodle. So first, make sure your test banks are downloaded. And I like to use Notepad++ for this. It allows me to work with multiple text files at a time. And if you want to download that, I'll put the link to it in the comments in the description for the video. Or you can Google Notepad++. It should come up pretty easily. So just open up your text editor. And if you want to use the Microsoft text editor, you can do that as well, but you can only edit one file at a time. So I'm going to work with chapters 13 and 14. So to get the text from your Word document to your text editor, you can either open up the Word document, but if you want to do it just a little bit of a shortcut, just click once on it and make sure that your preview pane is available. Make sure you can see the text of that document in the preview pane, and just click in there, Control A, and then Control V to, oops, psh. So Control A to select all, Control A, Control C to copy the text, and then to Control V as in violin to paste the text. So then we're going to repeat that for chapter 14. So open up a new tab, double click in Notepad++. Click directly on chapter 14. Click in the preview pane. Control A, Control C as in copy. And then Control V as in violin to paste. Let's see here. So the first thing I want to do is save these files so that I know what they are. I'm going to delete that header information. So we're going to have a chapter 13, and it has to be a text file. Save. Yes. And then a chapter 14. So file, save as, chapter 14. Oops. And it just has to be a text file. Save. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is delete the header information on both of these. And then probably the next easiest thing to do is to change each of these letters in the choices needs to be changed from this lowercase a period, and a large space, to an uppercase a period, and a small space. You can also use an uppercase A and a parenthesis opening to the left. So you can use a period small space, or you can use a parenthesis, a right parenthesis small space. We're just going to use the a period small space because it's just an easier translation. Go Control Z and get back to where I started. All right, so this big space is not a normal space. So we're going to highlight this large space, the a and the period, and then search and click on replace in Notepad++. It might be a little different in the Windows text editor, but not too much. Control V. Oops, sorry. You can let's try it again. Highlight those. Search. Replace. There we go. So now we have the little a, the period, and the large space. So we want to replace that with the large a, the period, and the small space. And we want to do it in both files. So we're going to click Replace All in All Open Documents. Yes. Okay, so now if everywhere we see an A in these questions, it's going to now be a large A, a period, and a small space. So I'm going to go through and do that for A through H, it looks like. Okay, so again, click Replace All in All Open Documents and say OK. And that should be done for all of your open documents. So you can have as many as you want up here. Just be sure that it's actually useful to have multiple open documents that you're editing. So the next thing you want to do is go through and delete the question numbers because Moodle will number those for you, and also if you leave the numbers in there, if you happen to shuffle questions in Moodle, it will look confusing. Because these numbers will not change. They'll, like, if number 4 is your 17th question, it's still going to say number 4. So we want to delete all of these numbers at the front. All right, just 21 questions in this one. Woo! Okay, so we're just going to finish editing this chapter 13, and then I'll edit 14 on my own. The next thing to do is to be sure to, we're going to type the word answer in all caps with a colon after each question, colon and space. And you can see the option with an asterisk. I'm going to be typing in that letter next to each one of these in capital letters. But first, I'm going to hit enter once, and then I'm going to highlight that return plus the word answer and that colon. Control C. And then what I want to do is, I'll just show you an example of how this works. Like this guy, I'm going to highlight from before this first question to after this last question, and do Control V for, oops, shoot, it didn't quite work. One more enter. One more return. There we go. I'm going to highlight from the second return up to the front of the word answer. Control C. There. And so right here I'm going to highlight before the word what up to, oops, up to the bottom of the previous question and do Control V. Perfect. So again, you want the word answer, colon, a space, and then a return. Word answer, colon, a space, and a return. So I'm going to go through and do that for the rest of these questions. Another thing that really helps with working with these is to be sure to turn on word wrap so that your answer options don't go off all the way off the screen, so you can easily see which answer is the correct one. So if you go view, for me, it's right here, word wrap. And that will, so you can see it wraps the option in the screen. Whoop, whoop. All right, so that's it for entering the word answer. At the end of the document, be sure to delete the extra returns. And now we'll start entering the letters for the correct answers. So C, A. We have that one question with options E through H. I think I'm going to change those to A through D. I think they might error out on us. So I got C, A, okay, and then our correct answer is going to be D. And then next is D. All right, so So that is all the correct answers. And we have our spacing between our questions is good. Our formatting looks like it's complete. The last step is to remove these asterisks. You can remove them one at a time. You can also remove them all at once, especially if you don't believe there's going to be an asterisk appearing in the rest of the question anywhere. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Highlight one of them or just type. But sometimes the formatting of the symbols in these questions is a little different than what it is when you type it. Just like those spaces earlier. So you can try try typing an asterisk, and if it doesn't work, come back in and highlight it and try it again. So we're just going to replace this asterisk with nothing. Click replace all and all. No, we're just going to do this first one so that I don't mess up the other document. So I'm going to replace all, and all the asterisks are gone. Close. All right, so that is the end of formatting the questions that we're going to import. Now we're going to actually import them into Moodle.